What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fight Within podcast. Today's guest is former Mission Viejo High School quarterback and Division I quarterback headed to the Ohio State University, Mr. Luke Fahey. Luke, thank you so much for coming on, man. Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I think what kind of got me to where I am today is kind of like consistency and dedication. It took
You're good,
me
man. Keep
it
going.
took me so much time and so much effort kind of to get to where I'm headed. And I just closed one of the best chapters I think of my life, which was my high school journey. I think I had a blast. I mean, as I was going into high school, they always said high school goes by super fast. And now being out of just kind of graduating and stuff like that, it certainly did go by super fast. And I'm grateful for it all. But the dedication of kind of every single day, kind of doing something to get better, whether that was sprinting or lifting or throwing the football or just something to kind of get me better and 1% better every single day. I think that's the biggest thing for me and kind of why I'm here today is because of all the time that I've spent with my dad, with trainers, but a lot of time with my dad at random parks after practice, kind of just working on my skills, trying to get better every day.
So where do you think that motivation came from for you? Because it's every athlete is motivated, right? To be the best, to be a champion, and whatever they're doing, but very few of them actually put in the work or do it. You talk about it, but our practice is 2 hours. All right, cool. What am I going to do extra? And so what was it? Having the right support system, like your dad, motivating you and telling you like, hey, we're going to go to the park. We're going to go work on footwork drills or throwing the ball or whatnot.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was him, but I think a lot of it was me as well. Because I would watch sports growing up, all sports, and kind of I always dreamed about kind of playing on the biggest stage in front of the most people, being on TV. Like I've always dreamed about that.
Yeah.
Playing for the schools that I've always wanted to go to, playing for the NFL teams that I've watched growing up. But kind of I think it was both of us, but mainly me. I want to say, because like playing sports, you win or you lose. And I think there was a lot of times where I did lose and I like losing is my biggest, like it brings me down the most. Like to this day, last season when we lost our first game, I cried on the whole way bus back because that's how much it means to me. So like losing, I hate losing and I kind of want to do everything to win. So that motivation of never wanting to lose and always trying to be the best and making sure that I never felt a loss again or felt how I did when I lost. That's kind of where the motivation came from, is losing so many times that you're like, this has to stop, that I need to do something to get better. I need to do something to where this won't happen again. And that's where kind of a lot of it I think came from, but also of my dad kind of pushing me every single day to kind of do these new things, play all different sports and stuff like that. Cause I played football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse all growing up. So there was kind of like no time to kind of just sit down and relax. And a lot of the people that I kind of played with and knew, they were kind of one sport athletes besides like the couple few I knew, but a lot of them played one sport year round. And while I'm playing basketball, they're practicing for that sport. So they're already getting a little bit more time in it, a little bit more practice. They're getting better than I was because I was missing that time because I was playing a different sport. So kind of just being consistent every single day and being motivated that I can't lose. And if I do lose, like it's going to hurt and there's no one to blame but me because I'm not the one who put in the work. I didn't put enough time. Like it was my fault that we lost.
Yeah. And that sort of accountability is rare in people, And so was that something that your family taught you at home where it was like, hey, you don't blame other people. Like you have to prepare properly. You got to do the things necessary.
Yeah, 100%. I think because my parents were extremely hard on me, I think growing up, like not like in a bad way at all, but they've always wanted the best for me and they pushed me like incredibly hard growing up kind of to get me to where I'm at now, of course. And that really helped me a lot and kind of because when you kind of get into like the real world, like not like the real world, but like older and older and you start getting a job and stuff like that. Like if you're late, it's not on your boss. That's you for being late. Like you can't in life go around pointing the finger and blaming other people If something doesn't happen, like there's ultimately you got to look at yourself to see like what you did wrong, or if there's something that you could have done better. Because and no one wants to be around people that just sit there and blame other people for everything that goes wrong. Because I know I certainly don't like being around people that just it was your fault we lost. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. While you show up late and you skip and you do all kinds of stuff that doesn't help us get better. But I think they instilled it a lot in me as like growing up, kind of that it's on you, and if you want to be the best, you got to work like the best, and you got to take accountability if you lose or you win, and you go with it. So
was there a moment growing up in sports where you remember like, man, this loss sucked, I don't want to feel this again, and what can I do to not feel this feeling?
I mean, I don't remember like specific ones, but there was definitely like a ton of basketball championships that we would make it all the way to the championship, and then there'd be that one team that was just taller, could score more points, could shoot better, was faster than us, and like working that hard to get to a championship and then losing, that's the worst feeling ever. And those when you work so hard for something and then you ultimately feel like you failed because you didn't win and you didn't succeed, like that's the worst. That's the worst.
Well, because you put in all that time,
Right.
that energy, that effort.
Right.
And that's what's a beautiful thing about sports is that both sides, both teams are preparing. Right. There can only be one champion, one winner. Right. And so how do you deal with that, knowing that like, hey, this is a possibility, but like, what are we going to do to keep moving forward, to keep going? Because a lot of guys will take that and be motivated and get motivated, but they won't really change any habits. Yeah. So like, what are some of the things that you do or that you did when you did experience a loss and then you had to go to practice on Monday?
Yeah, I think like a lot of the losses, and when I kind of started to realize like that I have to look back on and stuff like that was a lot when I got to high school. Yeah. When we lost some of our games, like I would rewatch the film and look at it, and then there was huge like red flags that I saw, like, holy moly, like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Why did you throw that? What are you looking at? Like, just going back and like watching that kind of stuff, I don't know how it doesn't motivate people. It certainly motivates me because again, like, you work so hard to get somewhere and then you ultimately don't succeed at that. That's like, I'm sorry, but I don't play sports to lose. And I hope a lot of people don't go out there and they're playing sports and they're like, oh, we lost. Like, let's smile. Like, no. Like, you lost and they just took what's yours and what you just worked so hard for. So there has to be some kind of change. And like we said, accountability and kind of looking yourself in the mirror and thinking like, what I have to change something.
When you notice those mistakes or wrong decisions, when you rewatch the film, what do you do to make those adjustments, to fix those things?
I think it like pointing them out and kind of bringing them up, like to people I trust and people that kind of are like rooting for me to succeed. Yeah. Kind of bringing those up to those people. I know my dad was like the biggest one of like pointing something out to me, or like me bringing it up to him, like, what did I do wrong here? And then him saying like, this is because you didn't do this, or this is because you didn't do that, or like, how much time did you spend watching third down clips or something like that? Or like just little stuff like that. I think it's like putting it out there and realizing like what you did wrong and kind of building on those strengths or those weaknesses, as much as you possibly can. Yeah. Because in everyone's game, there is strengths and there is a ton of weaknesses. For sure. And kind of pointing those things out that you notice or that are weaknesses, that you got to kind of build on those, and you just got to put those out, because it sucks that you have like that people have weaknesses and stuff like that. But ultimately, that if you want to be the best and you want to win, you kind of like your whole game has to be level. And I think realizing that like I'm not the best and that there's stuff that I need to work on to like improve, and pointing that stuff out to the people that are in my corner, I think that was one of the hardest things for me, just to be like, man, what did I do wrong here? Why did this happen? Because I practiced it so many times, but then when you get in like a game scenario, like pressure's on, there's a lot of stuff going around, like flying around and so many moving pieces, and then you do something that you don't normally do. It's kind of, you take a step back and you realize like, why was that? and then you have to point it out, and you have to kind of just rethink about everything of why that happened.
Well, I don't think people realize that as a quarterback, you got to know everyone's route. You have 250, 300-pound linemen rushing at you. You know, you got to know if your running back is blocking for you or if he's going out for a short pass. You got to know all the receiving routes, all within, 3 seconds or less. You know, and it looks great on TV when they have the perfect angle and the perfect camera angle. They're like, you should have thrown this, but they're not there.
Yeah.
You know, what helped you go through that? Like, as far as either coaching or watching film, like what made you, first of all, what made you want to play quarterback?
So growing up, like youth ball, I played like my early, like I want to say like 6U, 7U. I played running back.
Okay.
And then the coach's kid was the quarterback. And I think this was like during the time of like when OBJ was really popular and he was making all his catches and stuff like that. And his son wanted to be like Odell. So he ended up switching to receiver, and then I just jumped in and took the role of playing quarterback and kind of just throwing the ball, because like it's like super natural for me, because my dad played baseball, so he was a very natural and gifted thrower. So how I got it, but then I jumped into that and then kind of been playing it ever since. But all like how I got really into it was all my friends that I played basketball, baseball, lacrosse, football. We kind of played all those sports together, and we just go from one to the other to the other to the other
together.
And then, okay. And then that's how we just kept it going. And we ultimately, right when we got to high school, we decided to go different ways, some of us, but that's how I kind of got into football. It was kind of just like a year-round thing, and and just playing with the guys, having as much fun as I can.
That's crazy. And what made you pick Mission? Because someone with your talent and your character, I'm sure, was sought after, but why'd you decide to go to Mission?
Well, I when I was like deciding on what school I kind of wanted to go to, I didn't really want to go to a public school because I didn't hear much about it, and I thought like they weren't going to play as good competition as like the private schools, and I think my parents like were thinking I wasn't going to get the best education at a public school, as like a Trinity League school or something like that. But I ultimately I was with Coach Johnson my 7th grade year, I want to say, at like Lake Forest Sports Park. I think I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was just like 7-on-7 or training or something like that. And he was a coach, or he was just like behind me talking, or he was like coaching the quarterbacks, and he was really cool. And I just never really thought about like going to a public school.
Yeah.
And then like getting closer and closer to making a decision, like I got to talk to Coach Johnson a little bit before, and he was just kind of broke it down to me of what he envisioned my path of, and that like honesty, and like put it right in front of me of like what was going to happen and what he kind of saw would happen in me. Like I was like, oh shoot, like that actually might be a good idea. And then I talked to my parents, and my dad loved him. So, and then like one night he was just like, I was like, do I text him that I'm going to go to the school? And he was like, yep, just text him right now. So I let him know. And then after that, it's history.
That's awesome. And then how'd you deal with, because I don't know, once you got into high school, how involved your dad was, right? Did he kind of let you say, hey, you have great coaches. This is my input, but I'm going to let the coaches coach. You know?
No, that was right when I got into high school. That was kind of, he just said, you're not on your own, but he was just like, football is now, I'm not a coach. I can't just yell from the sidelines what to do. He was like, you went to the school. We picked the school for a reason because of the people here. So, and he trusted them on kind of what they envisioned for me and how much experience they've had. So he kind of just was like, they got it. If you have any questions, of course, come back and ask me, but I'm going to let them handle it. And then he was like, he just wanted to help the program as any way he possibly could. So he was setting up the games, like every home game, like he would be grilling. Like most of like the home games, he didn't even get a chance to really watch them because he was making hamburgers and hot dogs for everybody in the stands. So he just wanted to help the program in any way possible. And that was kind of me too. I just wanted to help any way I possibly could. If that was holding, if that was running down on kickoff, like I really would have done anything kind of just to get on the field. And we had a talk before I got into high school, and it was about leaving. Like if I ever wanted to decide to go to a different school, And he shut that down. There was no right when I said I was going to that school, that's where I was going, and there wasn't any way that I could get out of that. So,
and why do you think that is, and how do you think it affected you, not only on the field but your commitment to the team?
I think like because loyalty is like a big thing in my family, and I think the more people like jump boat and go different places, like you're not loyal to the people that kind of believe in you or that are loyal to you. And I think that ultimately like you can't be a team if you have people that are always me, they just want to get theirs and get out. Like I think that's like the worst thing for a team. And remaining loyal to the people that believed in me was always something that my family had preached on me since a little kid, and kind of having that talk with Coach Johnson and him saying that he believed in me and kind of telling me like this is what's up and stuff like that. Like I took that as he believes in me, he thinks I can do it, and why would I turn my back on someone that ultimately wants me to succeed and kind of believes in what I can do.
Yeah, because it's rare, and that's why I asked that question, because nowadays we were talking about it before we were recording. It's all about me. Now there's NIL deals, there's sponsorships, there's all these things about pushing a specific athlete, and I feel like they lose sight of the team. Like if we didn't have receivers, like who are you going to throw to?
Right. We don't have O-line. Who like
and I think people get lost in that. And if you have a great personality and a social media presence, like go get yours. But know that in order for you to look great, as a quarterback, you had O linemen to protect you. So like I had a Jesse Sapolu on here who played for the 49ers and won a ton of rings, and he was talking about how every year he blocked for Steve Young and Joe Montana, and when they no matter if they won a Super Bowl or not, every year their quarterback would get them a gift. And he goes, we got watches, dinners, a laptop. He goes, when laptops first came out, he goes, we got a laptop. And like we didn't know what to do with it, but it just let them know that the quarterback appreciates them.
Right.
Like, hey, what you guys are doing is making me look great.
Right.
And so what are some things that your parents instilled in you? Only because during the banquet and throughout the year, I'll share something that I noticed. Like when we went out to the ranch, and they fed us, and there's a ton of tables that they had reserved for us, and they wanted us in a specific area, right? And they did a whole buffet line, and you were going around and cleaning tables, making sure that the plates were together and the forks were together.
Yeah.
And then at the banquet, Coach Johnson is sharing stories about how you're staying after games, you and JD, to clean the locker room that some of our players just left trashed, whether it was tape or candy wrappers or whatever it was. What got instilled in you from your parents, I'm assuming, or anybody else that maybe instilled that? What got instilled in you when you were younger to have that type of character and do those type of things?
I think like it goes back to what we were saying, that like no one wants, like I know I don't want to be around people that are all me, and that kind of don't want to see other people succeed, and that don't want to be someone that's always looking to help someone.
Yeah.
I think like my parents instilled that very young, that like if you want to be a guy that people like and you want to be like that guy that you dream about being, like you got to be someone that is always looking to help someone, always looking to kind of share their story or kind of pick up trash or just do anything possible to help someone. And I think like that's like the biggest thing, and that's like something I take a huge amount of pride in, is being someone that people can turn to in desperate times or in anything, or just anything possible, or something that I can do to help them kind of get over the hump, or just anything. I had a kid 2 days ago reach out to me from Hawaii. I met him at a 7-on-7 tournament, asked me if I could follow him on Instagram. I was like, yeah, sure. You know what? Like there's no harm in that. And then he texted me yesterday and was like, I broke my arm for my freshman season, and then my sophomore season, I'm looking to compete for the varsity starting job. I'm really nervous. I don't know what to think or what to do exactly. Like, can you give me some tips? And that literally like warms my heart the most, that he feels the need and feels like he can reach out to me to ask me about anything like that. Like, I think that's huge. And I always want to be that person that people can turn to to helpful and reach out. And I think just like that character of wanting to be a guy that everyone likes. Like I don't want to be the guy that only puts like does it for the camera or only does it so that people are like, oh, that's him, and then like I turn my back and I'm a totally different person. And I think like that's terrible for people to see, and I just don't want to do that.
Well, it's hard. I follow you on social media, and I never saw anything of you posting like, hey, look at the trash I picked up. Our team sucks because we left all it was never that, you know? And so if I can encourage you in something, it'd be to keep that character, keep being that person, but know that like you can't please everyone.
Right.
You know, and do it without expecting anything in return. Know that that's just the type of person you are, so that when you do have a family and you have your kids, you're going to be able to teach them like, hey, this is how we do it in this house. This is what we do. And these are the type of people we want to be. Not to get anything, but to help other people out.
Right.
You know, and so it sounds cheesy and something I've heard in the past, but like you have to be the change that you want to see. You know, if you want something to change, like I always tell some of our younger guys that end up being captains, they're like, oh, the seniors are mean to us. I'm like, cool. If you don't like the way they treated you, once you get to be an upperclassman, treat the underclassmen better. And then hopefully you can change that culture, right? And be better. And so I just want to encourage you not to change that. You know, that is a very good trait and a very good character trait that you have that got instilled in you by your family. And so don't change that. It's going to take you far in life, and you're going to be able to accomplish things because of your work ethic and because of your talent and all that good stuff, but because of the type of person that you are and the type of character that you have, that's going to take you so much further in life. Because what people don't realize is that as an athlete, your window's very small.
Exactly.
You could have a 15-year NFL career. Great. That's still 15 years out of a possible 80, 90 years of life.
Right.
You know, it's like, and that's why a lot of people don't succeed after athletics, is because you put your whole identity and trust in what you're doing. And that's not who you are. It's what you do. Who you are is... you're a brother, you know, a friend, you as a human being, like that's who you are. It's not, your vocation isn't who you are, it's what you do. And so don't ever let that interfere with the type of person you've grown up to be and the type of great traits your parents instilled in you. You know what I mean? And getting back to that now in high school, and not even in high school, fast forward a little bit to like college, you leaving, how do you deal with like leaving your family, the things that you know, your community? Like, how is that? How'd you come to that decision? Because you're leaving early. And so how'd you come up with that decision to want to leave early?
I think like, especially for quarterbacks nowadays, like like you kind of have to kind of get yourself ready, get in the playbook, kind of get settled down there, kind of get your classes, kind of get everything that goes on from a day-to-day life as a D1 athlete. Because the jump from a high school athlete to a college athlete, I'm about to make it, but I know it's a completely different change, and there's so much that needs to happen by the time I get from here to there that I kind of got to prepare myself for. And I think like graduating early is the best thing for me, because it'll give me more time to kind of acclimate myself to what's going on, the people around me, and kind of get used to where I'm at. But like, it's been a dream, like to go to Ohio State, or just like really play at the next level at all. It's been a dream, and I've dreamed about it for so long. And even if I didn't go to Ohio State, if I went to like anywhere else in the country, I would just be extremely grateful and blessed to kind of go play at the next level, regardless of where it was. And my parents understand that, and they know that was something that meant the most to me and meant a lot to me about playing at the next level. So they were pushing it a lot on me to be like, find the place. And whether that's in California or that's not in California. I know my mom was a little more on the upset side, just because, again, I'm going across the country, and it's not as easy as it would be if I was in California. But they were pushing it on me just because like it's been a dream, and they know how much it means to me. And this next step is kind of one step closer to the ultimate goal of playing in the NFL. And they were extremely happy, and I know they're extremely excited, and they're going to be out there when I move in and they're staying the whole week and kind of they're staying the whole week to kind of get me moving forward and kind of see where I'm going to be at. So I'm super excited about
it. It's tough. Just know as a dad, I had, my son, when he moved out, I always was like, man, when he's 18, he's going to have to leave. And then the closer it got to him leaving, I was like, man, you don't have to go. You can stay.
Right.
You're good. And so I'm sure your parents will go through those emotions and be like, nah, that's all right. Well, we're gonna hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
What now going back to high school, you win your sophomore season, you're sharing time with another great quarterback, and you're having to split. I mean, not even split reps. You guys were literally split in series. It was like this series Dre's goes, this series Luke goes. How was that to deal with? And why didn't you transfer out? Now that we're 2 or 3 years away from that or past that, like why didn't you transfer out? Because someone with your talent and ability nowadays would just be like, see ya.
Right.
I'm gonna go to modern gay.
Right. And switch
up. Sorry, modern gay.
But again, I think that goes back to like Coach Johnson sat down with me and my family and believed in me and gave me the opportunity to go play at the school and said like, this is what's gonna happen. Like, you're not going to be a guaranteed starter. But you have a chance to be a starter. And I took that as like, he believes in me. He kind of gives me the opportunity to go play and battle it out. But, I believe that Coach Johnson is the best high school coach in the country.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
The whole coaching staff around Mission Viejo, the people that they have, the alum they have, and everything, what they've done with that school and kind of the city and the place. It's a beautiful place to be in. And if I left and went somewhere else, I don't know if I would have had as much fun at all, because again, I think that would have been, I'm going to play for myself and that's all I'm going to play for. Like if I went to a different school, like I would be going to play football and that's it. I really wouldn't know anybody else. Cause again, I don't think I would have been like, hi, my name is Luke, go out there and kind of meet everybody possible. Because again, I'm not there to meet people. I'm there to play football. Yeah. So I think that was one of the biggest things was, again, the loyalty part of it, that he believed in me and I need to believe in him, because I think that's what made me successful is, again, believing in the people that truly believed in me. And I definitely can say like those games of like when I did play bad, like I knew I could come back Monday and feel great because the people around me believed in me no matter what, if we win or we lost or it didn't matter. Like they believed in me. And then the splitting time, like it did suck. And like, there's a lot of people that want to be the full-time starter and want to be a starter and everything like that. But I think for me, like I'm big on my faith and everything like that. And I prayed about everything that possibly happened to me. And I believe that God has a plan for everybody. And that was my journey, was to split time and to be like, there's work that needs to be done and kind of face the reality of the next step, which was high school football. Of the youth football, I was a guy and I was a dude and I was one of the top players on the team. And then kind of when you make the next step, you're not, and you kind of have to work your way back up there. And I think that was one of the things for me was, you're not that guy yet. You need to get better and you need to keep working. And the other quarterback, Dre, he was my best friend. He still is my best friend to this day. Yeah. And I think we just had a great relationship. So it made it super fun. It wasn't like, I'm gonna go to practice and I hate this dude and I need to do everything possible to beat him. Yeah. Like, no, it was just like, again, I'm playing football and I get the opportunity to play football, and who wouldn't want to play at Mission Viejo, a D1 school? Like there's not many places that you can go that would say the same or give you the same opportunity.
Oh yeah. And then you go, we won state that year and you shared time. Now you go into the off season, going into your junior year. Mm-hmm. What was expectations for you, knowing that like you were going to have a full-time role, be the full-time quarterback? Like what did you do to prepare for that next jump?
So I think like for me, the people in front of me did a really good job, like leading and kind of the time I got to spend just watching how they conducted themselves and everything. And because I got 2 years to share time. So I got 1 year behind Caden, see how he conducted himself as the full-time starter. And then my sophomore year, split time. And then kind of Dre was more of like the vocal leader on the team and stuff like that. Junior year, split time again. He was more of the vocal leader as well. And kind of just seeing how they...
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
My sophomore and junior year.
Concussions. Sorry.
So I kind of got to see like how they led and how they conducted themselves all the way through up. And then kind of when I was my shot, my senior year, I kind of understood what it would take and understood what it looked like because I had sat behind him and I knew what to do. And I think kind of that of not just being thrown in, because a lot of people want to be day one starters and they want to start as freshmen, but if you're thrown right in, I don't know how, like, you have to learn on the fly, and there's a lot of mistakes that are going to be made like during that time of from freshman to senior. But I think sitting behind people that led extremely well, kind of, it helped me big time. So when I got to my senior year, I knew how to lead. I knew my teammates really well. I knew the coaching staff really well. So like it made it really easy kind of for the transition of preparing myself really just to do what they did and just be that guy that, again, people can lean on, but to also be that guy that if someone's messing around or they're not giving full effort, to point it out and to be that guy, but ultimately to build my teammates up the best as possible. And I think for me, my goals this year was not like self stats and kind of doing all that. Like, of course, winning a state championship, that was one of my things, but I think like the biggest thing for me was kind of just to help the team grow as much as possible, because we were an extremely young team, and kind of, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and kind of just get those people the respect they deserve, and just build them up as much as possible. And I think that was my biggest goal for the year, was kind of just to build those people up. Like, it's never about individual stats. It's never about any of that, because again, I don't get that if those people don't succeed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great perspective and good goals to have, because a lot of people won't, you know, I've been at Mission for 8 years now. And a lot of times it's not even just at Mission. You see all the other schools, and it's all about them. Like, where can I go? What scholarship can I get?
Right.
I need these stats, you know, and we've dealt with it a little bit at Mission too, but I think when you have great leadership, it all trickles down from the coaching staff to the captains on the team. It trickles down to everybody else. Right. You know, and so unfortunately we did not win state this year. You know, we lost in a close game. And how do you battle those things in those games? Like what do you do in the game when you have a bad drive, a bad pass, you know, you make the wrong decision? Because you got to go back out, you know, you get to sit out a series, the defense goes and plays, whatever. You still got to go back out. You got 60 minutes of football to play.
Right. I think because the people, again, it goes back to like the people. The people around me believed in me so much that if I did make a bad pass, if I did have a bad drive, that they were the first people right when I came to the sideline, like, you're all good, man. Like, don't worry about it. Like, next drive, you'll be just fine. And when you have those people around you that truly like believe in you and truly want you to succeed, it makes it very easy, and not like I don't have to worry about like, damn, am I gonna get replaced? Like, are they gonna take me out now or something like that? Like the people around me truly believed in me and knew that wasn't who I was. That like it was a mistake, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fix it very next time. So it made it super easy for me. Like, if I did make a bad pass, that it was just like, all right, next play, and we're gonna keep going, because they knew what I like, who I was, and how much like football meant to me, and how much the games meant to me, that I wasn't gonna let it happen again, and that I would fix it ultimately.
So you've been talking a lot about other people, which is a good thing. You know, it's great. But now let's get a little bit to you. You know, you get offers, you're getting highly recruited. What goes into making those type of decisions about choosing the right school?
I think like for me, I think like one of the biggest things was my like off the field life and my after football. I think that was one of my biggest things, was because like we talked about, like, football is a very short part of people's lives, and who knows, like there's unfortunately there's people that go to college and then they get a season-ending injury and then they're kind of done with their sport, or they try to come back and they're never the same. And I think like the biggest thing that I wanted to look into before I made a decision was the people around me. Again, the people of like how am I gonna like conduct myself after football is over, and like what degree can I get that's gonna mean something to other people. Like, if I need to get a job, like if I went to that school, like, is that degree better than the other one, or something like that. I think that like that was ultimately like the biggest thing for me, was like my life after football, because again, football is such a short part of people's lives, and I wanted to be set up for after. And I think Ohio State does a really good job of that. They have tons of alum that are always back at Ohio State, and kind of the people around the area and the people that certainly go to the school are very smart, and they strive to be great, and they kind of strive in their own ways to do whatever they please of becoming an engineer or a real estate agent or owning their own business or anything like that. But I think that was like the biggest thing for me was that part of it. And then of course, like the football, I wanted to be somewhere where the football was competitive. The football was good. Like I was going to be challenged every single day. And definitely at Ohio State, that's the standard. And I know that going into the program, that I'm going to be on the bottom once again. And there's going to be people that are certainly better in front of me that have been there, that have more experience. So like, I'm going to have to work as hard as I possibly can to kind of get on the field there. And then, ultimately again, move on to the next step, which is the NFL, but, just kind of pushing myself in every way possible. And I hear it all the time about like, oh, he should have went here. Oh, he should have went there. And, and oh, this and that. And oh, he went there for the money. But like truly, honestly, like that's 100% not the reason. I truly like wanted to compete. And I think when I sat down to make my decision, my dad said, you're really going to find out like who you are. And if the things people say about you are really true, then we'll see it on the school that you decide to go to. And the biggest one was Ohio State, just because of the people that were in front of me and the people that come behind me are the best people in the country. They're the top dogs. Like I think just this year on the defensive side, they might have 4 first-round draft picks. Yeah. Like there's not really many other schools that you can go out there and you can say that about your team. And when you have those people around you that are that talented and that good, like that's only going to push you better. And I think I like to say is like, if you want to be a millionaire, you're not going to hang around people that are broke. Like that's just like not what you're going to do. Like you're going to hang around people that are on that trajectory or are already there. Yeah. So I think being around people that are on the trajectory of going to the NFL or they're a year away, I think that only pushes me to be so much better. And that kind of makes me step up my game, because knowing that, say I do have a bad practice or I do have a bad week, like that could affect if I get any playing time in that season. So kind of just pushing myself and being competitive, because I think that's the biggest thing is I love to compete, and those people are certainly going to make me better no matter what it is of on the field or off the field or anything possible in life. They're just going to make me compete, and those are the people I want to be around.
What were your top 3 schools?
Ohio State, Indiana, and Stanford.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like the funny like because before my visit, since I didn't have the Ohio State offer before I went up there, and then I got it on the visit, but like I told the people in my corner, I told my parents, like if I didn't get that offer right when we left the school, that like after I got through TSA and when I was sitting down at our gate, like I would call the Indiana coaches and tell them like I was committing, and I was going to make that decision like literally at the airport if I didn't get that Ohio State offer. But now those were the top 3 schools, and it was. Well,
and 2 out of the 3 schools had Heisman finalists.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that's crazy.
It was certainly hard.
But it's good. It's good to go compete, because it lets you know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, there's no better way of telling and noticing like, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is what I have to learn. And I'm excited for you, man. I think there's a lot of good things in the horizon for you, and a lot of good things for you at Ohio State. And knowing you, you know, we talked a ton at practice, but like we didn't hang out or talk after practice. But knowing who you are as an athlete and as a person, you know, I think that you're going to do great things there, and you're going to accomplish great things, you know, and that fan base is so dope to be able to go to something like that and then play in front of those people. And I mean, there's a lot of other sports there, but it's almost like Ohio State is life. Yeah. You know, football is especially life, football. Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting, man. And so what are you looking forward to, knowing that you do have a Heisman finalist, you know, in front of you, along with whoever the second and third string quarterbacks are? Like what are you expecting, not only for yourself, but for the program as you're there?
I think like since like it's Ohio State, I think that program is always competing and always challenging themselves and always getting better in some way. And I think like one of the biggest things I'm ready for and I'm like super excited about is competing. Like like, I think it's like, it's really fun for me. And I think that like pushes me to play better.
100%.
Is that like knowing that there's people better than me and that like I have to compete every single day. I think that's what like makes me better. And I think that's like the biggest thing I'm excited for is kind of getting around the people that are better than me, getting around the people that are so highly recruited that I've heard about since I was a freshman, and the people that are in my class that are extremely talented, like getting around those people and competing with them every single day. I think that's certainly the thing that I'm most excited about. And then like, of course, just like the football aspect of being in a stadium that electric with that many people.
Oh yeah.
I think like there's nowhere else like I would want to be, and there's no more like I don't know what like what I could possibly like think about or I could dream about that.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. This is where I'm at now, and I'm certainly excited that I got the opportunity to go play. And they believe in me that I can be a starter there if I work just truly as hard as I possibly can. I think like again that competing aspect, that's the only thing.
So you've talked a lot about competition and that perspective and having that desire to compete. What kind of athletes did you look up to growing up? That because I'm sure that added to it.
Right.
You know, looking up to certain athletes. What were some of your favorite guys?
Like before I got into high school, it was JT Daniels at Mater Dei, Bryce Young at Mater Dei. I think those were like the two biggest guys because those are the two guys like I watched the most, and kind of I loved watching them every single time I got to. I remember I went to a youth like throwing camp for quarterbacks because I found out JT was going to be there. Okay. So I ended up going there just to see him and kind of be around him. And then I remember I got to I didn't have a partner for my warm-ups, so he was my partner. So I was
wow.
Yeah, I was still in the water. I was so stoked out. It was definitely like some of the most fun I've had.
Yeah.
Like growing up, getting ready for football. And those were the two biggest people I think because they were in Southern California, they were in the area, and kind of they were on that next step of kind of going to the next level, which was college for them.
And then how have you fallen back on your faith when things weren't going right, or you felt like you should have done A but you did B? Like what kind of role has your faith played in your life, and what have you done to fall back on that?
Like I've really like all the decisions that I've made about like going to Mission, going to Ohio State, this hard decision that I made, I always prayed about it. Like, and I always took multiple days and prayed every single day about it, and really like deeply thought about it, and kind of I tried to read the Bible as much as I possibly could during the whole season, and kind of because that was like the crunch time for me was like during season, and then a little bit before when I was making my decision. I think like that's the time where I was like I really have to like think about this, and the one person that I know will kind of steer me in the right direction is God, and kind of just leaning back on him. And again, like I said earlier, like he has a plan for me, and it might be completely different, and kind of believing in him even when it's foggy and I might not like trust it, or I might think like, oh, maybe I can go this way, it's a little easier, but kind of just falling back on that his plan is always right, and just truly believing what he has for me is the right way.
Yeah, well, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago. There's a huge revival going on in like college, and Ohio State was one of the schools that like there's a ton of students and football players that got baptized all of a sudden, and they're just like, dang, you know, like it's things are shifting, and it's good because you're gonna have like-minded people, not only as an athlete, but as a person, you know, that's gonna help push you in the right way and on the right path, you know, and just know that when you go there, like there's going to be temptation. There's going to be women, partying, drugs, everything, because you're going to be at one of the top schools. And so the same way you relied on your faith to make these big decisions, continue to do that while you're there about making the next decision, you know, because I had a buddy in my men's group that said it's so dope. And I'd never heard it this way, but he's like, the most Christian thing you can do isn't reading the Bible or like playing worship music. It's choosing. And I was like, man, you're tripping. And he's like, no, like think about it. You choose to get into the word. Right. You choose to listen to worship. You choose to be led by God. Like those are all decisions that we have the free will to say, nah, I don't have to do this. I don't want to do this. Right. I don't have time to listen to this. I don't have time to read this. But when you choose to do it, it's just like God will never let you down.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might have these plans and say, this is what I want to do. I'm going to be the starter by year 3 or year 2 or whatever. But it's like you keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep chipping away at that. And that's when it's the most rewarding. You know, it is when you do work for it, when you earn it, knowing that you did everything in your power to earn that starting job. You know, and it's like, what do you do after that? And there's people that I know in life that get tired of it. It's like, you know, I want to reach my goal and be satisfied. You can't. And that's not the point of living here. It's like once you reach this, you better have a new goal. You got to do something that energizes you and motivates you, because life is beautiful. Like you think it's all about athletics, and for you right now it is, but know that there is plans for your life after football. You know, even if you go to the NFL, have a 15, 20-year career and you're the next Tom Brady, you know, it doesn't matter. There's still, at the end of the day, when you go home, you're going to have your wife, you're going to have your kids. Those are the people that are going to look up to you the most, that you have to pour back into. And then you get older and you start thinking about legacy and things like that. But enjoy that moment knowing that there's more for you after football, you know, but give it your all. Give your best to that. And there's a really cool thing that one of our coaches, Mark Munoz, who's, you know, UFC great, would always tell us in practice. He's like, leave whatever problems you have, leave them at that door. They're going to be there when you're done. Right. So when you're at practice, focus on football. Right. When you're in class, focus on class. Then when it's time to relax and hang out and recover and all that, then you can hang out with your boys, talk to your girl, do all that. But like when you're doing something, be focused on what you're doing and what's in front of you. Right. Because not only are people trusting you with those decisions, but you have to trust yourself, you know, like knowing that, it's like you were saying, God has a plan for your life. And so knowing that, like, this is part of that plan, give it your all, you know, don't stop. Don't ever stop, and don't change who you are. You know what I mean? And so I really don't have much more. I'd love to have you on maybe when you come back. And you can talk to us a little bit about how Ohio State's treating you. And
100%.
But for people that want to support you, people that want to follow your career, where can they find you? Whether it's social media, website, anything like that.
Yeah, I'm on all social media. Just Luke Fahey, and just look it up. And I changed, because like before I kind of, all this like NIL and big social media presence was a thing. Like I think like I had like the weirdest username like you could imagine.
What was it?
Like Luke._3.Fahey_. It was like some crazy stuff. So I was like, I was told like I had to change it so like it would be easy to find me. So like it's just Luke Fahey on all platforms, and that's it. That's
awesome.
really
Well, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yep,
Ohio State, you guys are getting a good one. Treat them right, and I'll be watching, man, cheering for you on Saturdays. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.